Hey guys, I'm
Hello.
Stacy.
Hi.
This is another Stacy here.
Stacy C and Stacy F.
And on this side we have our guest today who is
Hi.
Shannon, and she's going to be talking today about something that's really important, and a lot of people probably are looking and searching for this information for autism, and he also has sensory, what's it called?
Sensory, they reference this with an acronym of SPD, so it's sensory processing disorder.
Okay, okay. So we are CBD educators, and we work for a company that's leading the research in cannabinoids and the endocannabinoid system. And so we're coming from a point of educating because there's a lot of misinformation out there on how to obtain it, what the milligrams, percentage of CBD, all of that is very important to understand. And at the end, after Shannon's testimony, we'll get a little bit more into the legality of it, what it looks like, how to choose a product, and all that, great
Right.
information. But right now, we really just want to jump in and talk to Shannon and get her testimony on what it has done in her life. So,
Okay, well,
perfect.
great. Thank you very much for inviting me. So I'll just dive right in. I have a 10-year-old. He's my youngest of three boys, and he is autistic. And it's not the Asperger type of autism that many people reference it with. They call it more on the CI spectrum, so a cognitive impairment. And he's incredibly smart, but he is incredibly frustrated too, because he knows what he can do, but he really struggles to do so. So we have behavior issues, nonviolent. Never has he ever been violent, but what it is, it's a frustration that has prevented him from moving forward in his education and making friends because he's so frustrated all the time. Very high anxiety, and very, very low threshold for frustration. Um, and so we are parents that have gone down that medication road, that pharmaceutical road, because they were pushed and pushed, and us as parents didn't know any better. You will do anything for your children. And so when a physician tells you, or if teacher is constantly telling you, oh, your child needs to be put on medication, he won't sit still, he won't listen, he's frustrated, he's having a hard time making friends, you of course don't want that to be your kid. So you listen and you're thinking, okay, well, we got to get him on medication. Well, we did go down that route, and it was a horrible, horrible nightmare experience. He went on at least 6 different medications from a young age of 4 years old. He had all the horrible side effects that the physicians warn you about. But they say it's so rare to see. However, unfortunately, his disposition, every possible side effect that was possible, he experienced, which was a nightmare. Broke our heart to see him go through it. It was horrible on the entire family. And so I'll give you a couple side effects that we experienced. So loss of appetite was huge. And he lost so much weight, and he was tiny to begin with. They actually had to stop one of the medications because he lost too much weight. He was pulling out his hair. So he literally pulled out his hair so much so that he went bald in the back, and we had to shave his head because because of this anxiety that this medication caused. There were other things such as him being afraid to go outside because there were all these bugs, so illusions that would come up with some of the medication. Horrible rashes from patches. There was a stimulant patch that they put on.
Yeah.
Now he's only 4, 5, 6, 7. We're talking little kid, and so we finally, my husband and I, made the decision several years ago that we were going to stop this medication nightmare. No matter what the teachers told us, no matter what the doctor said, we knew in our heart of hearts that there was something better that could help him. So we stopped all medication, and we had to wean him off so many medications, and which was a process in itself. And we started external therapies. So I'm a huge advocate of like Children's Miracle Network. They have speech and language and behavior therapists. So we are very big advocates of them. So we got external therapies to help him with some other things. We went to NeuroCore. So when I say we've done everything, I mean we have done everything. And we still struggled, and I couldn't understand why. So we went to a gluten-free diet, and I was just at my wit's end. So Stacy had talked to me because she knew about our struggles with
This Stacy.
this Stacy, yes. I can't even say the brunette because you guys are both brunettes. You guys look like this. But so she had reached out to me because she knew of our struggles, and she knows Jackson. So she knew that we were really having a hard time as parents, and we really wanted to give him the best future possible, but without medications. So she had mentioned the CBD oil, and I am on a lot of homeschool boards on Facebook and a lot of support groups. We're part of the HSLDA. So I see a lot of different information articles flying around, and CBD oil has come up on many of them as an alternative treatment to help children with special needs, including ADHD, ADD, autism, various disorders, epilepsy, etc. And so I said, why not? Now, mind you, I was the scared parent. I did ask those questions like, well, isn't CBD like marijuana? And I can't have THC in my kid's system. What if I take him to the pediatrician? Like, I was a nervous wreck, partly because of just, I didn't know enough. And the other part was just because I had been through the bandit with the medication. So I was worried. And I did my own research aside from what Stacy informed me of, and it was a no-brainer for my husband and I to try it. It's all natural. There are no side effects. It is definitely something that is it's a natural healing supplement. And we had to do it. So we did. And we put him on the oil. We started, I think Stacy started us out at 1. It was like,
No. Hold on. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. So question on that, because you did, you had some reservations and some fears.
Yes.
Now, what subsided your fear? Because am I understanding this correctly that you did the pure CBD with 0 THC, correct? Okay. So how many milligrams did you put him on in the beginning?
Stacy.
Yes.
It was
2 tablespoons.
No, not tablespoons. Teaspoons.
2 teaspoons.
Okay. Well, you started him off on the 1, and you were splitting that up
2 times a day.
Yeah, and then you worked up to 2. You saw the biggest result with the 2.
With 2.
And that's what I want to know is at what point did you, if you can just kind of talk about how you started him off, and then where did you see the optimum results with him, and then how the results have happened? Like
Okay, so we started him off at the lowest dose because obviously you don't know what the body needs, and everyone's body is different.
So that's
so we started
milligrams is what you started him on.
Okay. 33 milligrams. I'm looking to her because I honestly only did like in my brain, okay, 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 teaspoon at night. So we started him off there, and it didn't happen overnight. I mean, this is not an overnight fix. This has to, it takes your body to absorb and get it in. And again, he was only on the oil. So I was very realistic in that sense. So it was after we were doing it for several weeks that Stacy and she was following up with me, and we were having a discussion. I said, I think we might need to up it. And so we did. And then that's when we went to 2 teaspoons.
So 66 then.
So 2 teaspoons twice a day, right? Was it twice a day? Yeah, it was twice a day. So we did 2 teaspoons twice a day. And then miraculously, I'm not even joking, probably about 7 to 10 days later, I'm talking to her and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm totally seeing a difference.
And what did you see a difference in?
So the differences that I saw, and again, they were, for me, being with him all day, I'm going to notice the differences before anyone else because I'm dealing with him every day, all day. So, in the sense of differences, he ate better. He ate more, so he's always been a bird, okay? And he had sensory, so anything texture, certain tastes. All of a sudden, he was eating like a 10-year-old, okay? Now, so he was he was able and willing to sit at the table and eat with us. For longer periods of time, more food. Like that was just a subtle difference. And it was like, whoa. And there were no like, ooh, this is that texture. Like all of a sudden he was just eating.
Okay.
And so, which is really good because he's tiny. So that was one remarkable thing, because I know to many that might not seem like a big deal, but for a kid who's very picky, very sensitive to foods, for him to just start eating, like all of a sudden he's eating the normal foods, that was huge. Well, with him eating better, then came a stabilization of his blood sugar, right? Because now he's eating better. So it was kind of, it supplemented other just his body regulating, because now he was eating better. And then frustration level. So normally tying of the shoes would put him over the edge within a minute if he couldn't get that bow right. Okay. And it wasn't because he couldn't. It was because he struggled to focus long enough to do it. It was that his attention span is so tiny that if he doesn't get immediate gratification, it sends him into a different emotional state.
Okay.
And what I noticed was less frustration, just less anxiety, less tension in him. You can see it in him. And it was just subtle things that all of a sudden he would say something and I'm like, oh my gosh, he caught that before his world was going so fast and in fast forward motion that he missed a lot of details. All of a sudden he would say something that made me realize, wow, he caught that. His anxiety was level. It just, everything started to just kind of decrease. He just seemed in a calmer state, if that makes sense. And those were things that I noticed. My husband noticed a little. Not everyone would be able to notice those things unless you're with him all the time. So they were subtle differences, but enough difference for me to say, wow, what's going on?
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it
And
does.
Okay.
you speak a little bit to the fact that you said, it is a gradual thing, and people, I think, they expect immediate results. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of CBD companies will not give out samples, is because you can't, first of all, you'd have to give out like 2 months worth of samples, which is just
Right.
not economically possible. So,
And with that being said, so Shannon, how old's your son?
10.
And he started it when he was 10 years old. At what point did you finally see the maximum results? Was it weeks, a month of using the CBD?
I would say 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, exactly. And that's pretty common. That's very much common. So I would probably agree with you to tell most people, give this a chance, because what you're talking about is when you started to notice a difference in his personality and his calmness and the focus, what CBD does is it creates homeostasis in your body, or balance. So wherever your body is lacking, it makes up for it. But it definitely takes time to activate the endocannabinoid system,
right.
in order for that to take effect. So this is just so amazing to hear this.
And so I wanted you to speak a little bit too about, unfortunately you had to come off of it for a short period of time. And because it is so gradual, sometimes it is one of those things where it's not like, he's here one day and the next day he's here. So it's like, this buildup. And so you knew it was helping, but you didn't truly know until you had to come off of it, right?
That is right. So I knew, okay, so as parents, right, we love to think it's one thing that you did that made the world of difference. But in reality, when you have tried so many different things and you're at your end of your rope, you have a skepticism that's just built up from experiences, right? That's normal. And so as much as I noticed that difference, I also was struggling to give CBD all the credit.
Okay.
Right. Just because I didn't know, is he maturing? I was thinking of many other things too that could have contributed, but I knew that CBD obviously was helping, but did I want to give all the credit to CBD?
Okay.
So yes, Stacey, unfortunately it was not of choice. It was just circumstance. I did stop giving it to him for financial reasons. And I stopped giving it to him, and it wasn't immediate in any way, shape, or form. I would say it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks later. All of a sudden, he is, not all of a sudden, but 2 or 3 weeks, I'm starting to notice, oh, oh, he's not eating as much anymore. Oh, we're back to frustration. Oh, we're starting the bickering with the brothers again. Oh, he's not getting that immediate gratification. Oh, the anxiety is back.
Yep.
The tears are back. The calmness is gone. And it didn't happen right away. It took 2 to 3 weeks for me to start noticing, like every day I would see another occurrence, or every day I started to feel like, we just went 10 steps backwards.
Mhm.
And it was at that point that I realized, yes, it really was the CBD oil. And yes, it really was that contribution to his body that is needed for him.
Okay.
And how
So,
long have you been back on it for?
well, actually, he's not back on it yet. So he will be put back on it. And so I'm very excited to get him back on it. And I'm also aware of the fact that I have to go through that cycle of it building back up in his system. But I'm so excited. And then it's going to make me even more disciplined in ensuring that I stay with this, because now this is a staple of life that he needs. He needs this.
Right.
It's going to make an enormous difference in his future, his quality of life. Our whole family is going to get an impact from having his anxiety and happiness
Right.
better.
I think this is amazing, Shannon. If I can just say that, thank you for sharing this amazing testimony for all the parents out there, that there is hope.
There is.
For this. And one point too is that obviously we all work for the same company and offers the same supplements, which is what your son is using. We're going to get back on. And one very important point to this is that not every CBD product is created equal. There's a lot of a difference out there. And the one thing I want to share about, like, for example, our company with our product is, what separates us from what's out there is, for example, Shannon worked with Stacy on this supplement, but from the very beginning all the way through, she has complete support system, because Shannon wouldn't have known to
Right.
actually increase the supplement milligrams,
Right.
to walk her through, okay, how's he doing? Okay, I think
Right.
I can increase this. So not every company offers such an amazing support system. So that's something that I just want to say that we pride ourselves in, because that's really critical.
Very
Because
much.
some people can give up on a product that they just order online, they think it's great, and they don't have that personal consultant to work with them every step of the way for that child or for that person. And people give up and think, oh, this doesn't work, and they're going to just throw their hands up. So I applaud you for sticking with it and working with Stacy on this, because this is the true success story of it all.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. And I will share with you that I have seen a lot of posts of people buying it on Amazon and other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good response
Yes.
on that. Yeah. So, there's just, that's a whole nother topic of discussion.
Right. So they bought it from other places.
Yes.
Right. There's a lot of other places that people can buy CBD oil on. And I guess as a parent, you want to be sure it's all natural. And that, I guess, is the other big thing, that, wherever a parent decides to get it, they have to ensure that it's all natural. This is the real thing. It's not synthetic. It's not genetically engineered in that sense.
Right. So thank you so much, Shannon, for coming today. We truly appreciate all of the feedback that you've given us. And if anybody, comes to you, you know where to send them to ask questions or anything like that. We are absolutely here to answer questions. We work for an amazing company, but there are other companies out there that are doing really good things too. We just want to help people understand, how do I go about
choosing the right
something.
CBD for my family.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm happy to help anytime, because I know how hard it is for parents that are struggling with their special needs child.
Awesome.
Thanks, Shannon. And we're going to stay on for some more facts about CBD. So thanks, Shannon.
So yes, we want to talk about the legality and what you need to look for when purchasing CBD supplements. So I'll let you start.
So as you just heard from Shannon, an amazing testimony with CBD helping children with autism, sensory processing issues. And what we would like to share is, of course, we all work for the same company, like we had mentioned. Speaking to CBD and different companies out there, and what separates one company from the next, we really encourage people to do their due diligence and to research, even online. A lot of companies that have been able to get the federal grant to grow hemp in the United States in a state specific, it's still federally illegal to sell it out across their state line. Even if you're in another state and you're purchasing from them, they're legally not federally able to sell it to you outside their state lines. So you want to look for a company that's state and federal legal, and they may claim to be organic and pure and natural, and that's all that they say, but how do you really know? Do you see the lab results? Do you know exactly where their hemp is grown and how it's grown, how it's sourced, and how they're extracting CBD from the plant? For example, our company, we extract from the seed and the stalk, the mature stalk of the plant, which is really critical. And we grow internationally so that we can federally and state legally import it over to the United States. We grow through multi-generational organic farm, free of herbicides, pesticides, chemical fertilizers, non-GMO, and we go through triple lab testing for its efficacy, which is extremely critical. We look for heavy metals, toxins, etc. So you want to make sure you have this as pure as possible for yourself or your family or a loved one. There's just so much, and industrial hemp, as a side note, has a lot of toxins in general when it's grown. So unless it's purely extracted correctly, you really don't know what you're getting. So we are, very educated over a year into this company, and we have the largest support system, and we are backed behind a parent company that is leading the way in CBD with many generations or decades of research on CBD.
Yes.
So it's echoconnection.org, ECHO connection.org, and that's where you can find from A to Z any sort of disease or condition, all the science, evidence, and research behind CBD, working alongside with that.
And when you go to the site, this is just a little tip. If you go up to the top, there's an education button. You want to hit education and scroll down. And what's super amazing is that no matter what your condition is, it's going to be listed there, and it's in alphabetical order. You just click on it and it's going to bring up all the research, all the reports that have been done. So we're talking like, Alzheimer's and neuropathy and fibromyalgia, ADD, ADHD. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's all there. And it's going to give you that, you're going to arm yourself with the education that you need there. It's a great tool.
And I'd like to also add that when choosing CBD, remember, we are here because we're passionate about what CBD is doing for the lives of so many people and children. And CBD is for everyone. So whether they're infants and babies all the way up to elders, CBD, you cannot overdose on CBD, but you just want to make sure that you're educated. Like Shannon was fearful and skeptical of THC and not quite understanding the difference.
And I'll speak a little bit to that because this is an important thing to understand. So hemp and the marijuana plant are two different plants. So I want you to think of a orange tree and a lime tree. They're both in the citrus family, but they both produce different fruits. So your hemp plant, let's go from the top to the bottom of the stalk. It's full of cannabinoids all the way down. And at the bottom, you're going to have just a little bit of THC in it, tetrahydrocannabinol. If you take the marijuana plant, it's just the opposite. All the way from the top, almost all the way to the bottom is THC with a little bit of cannabinoids in it. So one of the issues that we see all the time is that people get products and they have a very high percentage of THC. And they say, well, it's a full spectrum. Well, full spectrum is all parts of how do I want to say that?
Of the cannabinoids.
Yes. But
full spectrum is all cannabinoids from the hemp
want
plant.
that CBD, which is cannabidiol is what CBD is short for. You want that portion of it. That's where the health benefits come in. And so when you get a product that has a high percent of THC, you might actually get high from it. I've had people say, I took it and I just felt out of it. And and if you ever feel that way on CBD, it's not the right balance at all, and you're not going to get those health benefits, and you're not going to feed the endocannabinoid system like you need to with the CBD.
And so far, exactly. And so far with our company, a lot of our full spectrum products are 0.3% of THC and lower. So Shannon, for example, has her child on a pure CBD oil with 0% THC. So there's no THC whatsoever. So there's lots of different supplements to meet different people's needs. And specifically, you have to make sure that you're doing your research and being knowledgeable on how many milligrams of CBD. Do you need the full spectrum of all the cannabinoids? Do you not? What the situation is? We are 100% supportive of every customer and client that comes to us, and we stay with them for the life of the supplement. Sometimes down the road, they're adding to the regimen, they're decreasing the regimen once their health gets better, and that's the ultimate support system that you may not find just from every company.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one last point too that we talked about, a fact on CBD, the reason why CBD is so powerful for your health, and 42% of people, it's a factual article that was just released, 42% of people are getting off of pharmaceutical drugs with using CBD. And so this is the other option that's out there for many people. Now, for the record, we just want to make sure that everyone knows that through the FDA disclaimer and our compliance with our company, we never can promise to treat, cure, or really heal any condition. So that ultimately is up to you, but that's where our education side of echoconnection.org comes in. So you can see the proof in the studies behind CBD in people's health. You have a support system over here for CBD, and then you have your doctor that you work with in partnership. And that's pretty much the best direction that we like to recommend people to go to.
And so just to summarize, when you're looking to purchase the CBD, you want to make sure the milligrams that you're getting per serving. Okay, I don't know if we talk about the 50 milligrams being
briefly
what we not recommend. What's the word?
The recommended daily allowance is 50 milligrams,
and that's going to create the homeostasis in your body, and you can move up from there. But that's what we're here for, to help you kind of figure out what is going to work best for you. So you want to make sure that the milligrams, because it might just say 500 milligrams, and you might think, oh, 500 milligrams, that's really great. That's a lot. But that has to be broken up per serving. So you need to figure out mathematically, what does that look like per serving? That's one.
And how much you're getting in the bottle. So if something's 1,500 milligrams versus 3,000 milligrams, it could just be a 2-week supply.
Yeah.
So really do your research and look for the price comparison to the milligrams that you're getting, and see who's the most cost effective, who's the most premium quality. But like Stacey's saying, 50 milligrams minimum is the daily recommended minimum to activate your endocannabinoid system. Some people may need, like Shannon's son was up to about 66 milligrams just for a child. Some need up to 100, 150 milligrams or sometimes more. So again, that's where we can help work with people on that, and depending upon their situation.
Yeah. So milligrams of CBD, you want to know what else is in it. Okay, this is huge. A lot of these companies are adding terrible additives to the CBD oil. Alcohol, among one of them, I saw a lot of acids. I was looking at one with a lot of different kinds of acids in them.
The fillers.
Any fillers. So you don't want that. But really super important is you need to contact that company if it's not readily available on their website. And ask for lab results. You want to know what kind of testing is going into your product. You want to know the consistency. That's another thing. If Joe down the street is making it in his backyard and selling it to a dispensary, it's not going to be consistent. And again, it probably isn't legal.
And speaking of legalities, there was a study just done from Penn State. And DEA regulations are cracking down on a lot of companies that are claiming to have CBD in their supplements. And guess what? through a lot of testing and research through these, through the FDA and DEA, they're finding that a lot of companies that are claiming to have CBD have 0 to none in their supplements, 0 to none. Some may just say hemp oil, some may just say hemp extract. Well, like Stacey had talked about, all the cannabinoids in the hemp plant, there could be every cannabinoid in a hemp plant, but not CBD. And CBD is the government patent 507 that states that CBD, no other cannabinoid, not even THC, is a government patent from the National Health Institute. Look it up. CBD is an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and a neuroprotectant. So that's, again, what you want primarily in your system with supplements when you're looking for CBD, is a high level of CBD.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I think we just covered everything about CBD and your health. And if there's any questions or feedback you'd like to share with us, or anything you'd like to ask, you know where to find both Stacey's. Please comment below and reach out to us or message us.
And feel free to share this. Everyone needs to have this information in their back pocket. They need to understand the importance of everything we've talked about here. So please feel free to share it on. And thanks so much for joining us today.
Bye. Have a great day.